What's chillin' YouTube? This is Davis or D Howland C or Howland, and I am so stoked. We've got another tier list. It's been a minute. We did the Elden Ring tier list most recently, and now we've got Sekiro. We're doing all bosses, including mini bosses, just because we're gonna knock it all out. And we may do a difficulty tier list as well for this game because I think it's much needed. But we've been grinding last 2 weekends, pretty much dedicated all of them to this game. And I did the Shura ending on accident. By the way, if you guys want to skip this intro, you're by all means, please go ahead and skip it. It's going to be a couple minutes. But did the Shura ending, didn't realize it was going to end the game, so I wasn't able to face Owl or Ishin, and I was upset. So immediately started New Game Plus last weekend, and we finished up that New Game Plus this weekend. Just about 30 minutes ago, I defeated Ishin in glorious fashion. Can't wait to show it all on the channel. But as far as today goes, we're going through a tier list. I have a lot of emotions and thoughts on these bosses. I know Aiden does as well. Let's dive deep into this. Okay, are you ready to dive in? So, I think we should break down, let's chill on YouTube, Davis and Aiden here, and we should break down how we did this tier list, what it's going to be factored on, and then we should start, I guess, alphabetically, because that's probably the most fair, not chronologically. So, mine, I think ours are the same, SS all the way down to pain, and this game has caused a lot of pain, but a lot of joy, a lot of highs and lows. Start with Armored Warrior. You want to take this one first?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this guy in a solid A+. He was fun to fight. He yelled Roberto as he fell off the bridge.
He did. He did do that.
And the gimmick was sort of difficult to figure out. It wasn't like a give me gimmick where it's obvious immediately. I guess it wasn't to me, or it wasn't to me, I guess, but...
Yeah, I would say it is a gimmicky weapon or boss fight.
It doesn't really feel like a gimmick boss.
I'd put it right here. Because it's not too difficult. Like, I don't have... It goes here or here. It doesn't really go any farther out than that. Like, it's not a or A+. I don't really have too much thought on it. Jinsuke Sase. I love
Is this the first guy or the second guy?
This is the guy that has that really quick move that looks like Emma's.
Yeah, but the first one or the second one? The first one.
Yeah. So he's got that move that will cut you down. That move one-shots. How did it not one-shot him? That move one-shot me. But I mean, all you do is dodge that
one move.
Yeah, you dodge that one move and it's over. But I do like it. Like it's kind of like
I think it's an A as well.
It reminds me of Leonine Misbegotten, and I put it above Armored Warrior. But it reminds me of Leonine.
I fucking wouldn't.
It reminds me of Leonine Misbegotten, where it's kind of a glass cannon fight. You both one-shot each other, but his one-shots will really actually one-shot you. And once you learn the timing and how quick it comes out, you just dodge it a couple times and beat it. And I did like the area. You know, it's kind of like you're fighting in this little Buddhist room, and he's in a robe, and it's kind of funny. So I did like the area as well. Even though it's not like this epic scale, it's just so personal. Uji Nari Mizuo. I'm going to mispronounce that. Thoughts? Thoughts on that one?
I don't fucking know who this guy is.
Let's see. Oh, this guy. Remember you sneak up on him right here?
Oh, yeah.
And then, I can't remember how he fought, thow. He probably fought similar.
He's just the red eye. Yeah, no, he's the Ashina warrior.
Yeah, he fights similar.
Yeah, I mean...
So I like his moveset. Again, it's sort of like Leonine Misbegotten. It's this glass cannon fight. And I don't really have any complaints about it.
This guy is just spinning his umbrella and winning.
That's one thing about this game is when I play it, and I'll talk about it at some bosses, but like when I played some bosses, I was just playing Dark Souls, not Sekiro, and not using all the utilities you had. I would say this is also A. I really liked it, but I do like the Jinsuke better because it's darker room, and it's... Actually, maybe they're kind of on the same level. A tier.
Blazing Bull.
Oh, fuck this bull. It's pain. It's dog shit, dog water, dog ass. It is bitch ass and bitch made. I
feel like we're going to have a lot in pain, a lot in A, and a lot in SS. There's really not a whole lot of in between.
That's the thing. There's very rare ones, and I'd actually put these up to A+, because I do like them a lot. even though they're quick and easy boss fights.
I definitely fucking wouldn't.
Yeah, you're
I'd put
right.
them down
I'd
to
put them
B
down.
first.
I'd put them down here. You're right. So Blazing Bull. I mean, what is there to say? You know, in every mod, and everyone's heard this probably, but in all the mods that they come out, even with the hard ones like Resurrection and all that, they don't. What do you call it? Buff the bull. They only either nerf it or they leave it alone.
Fucking thank
Which
God.
is hilarious.
This bull sucks cock.
Yeah, the bull, like you have to get out the first two guys from this cage, as you can see. So there's a setup to it all, but you can also cheese it. You can get him to run off the map or kind of glitch out, or you can full around skip the entire boss fight itself. So there's ways to do that, even though it's not really straight up fighting him. So I guess you have that option, but when you're just analyzing fighting him straight up, it's a nightmare. His hitboxes, her boxes, everything are all screwed. He does a ton of damage, and it's just aggravating to no extent. This is a miserable time.
It is. Ah, God, is there a worse boss in this game?
I've had some heated moments. Yeah, no, there is, in my opinion. There's one near it, I'll say. We'll get there.
I don't know. I don't think so. This boss just sucks ass.
Yeah, the boss is just a mouth breather. He's so annoying on every single level, and there's no satisfaction to beating him.
No.
Corrupted Monk Illusion. So I guess this is the first one. I would say A+ looking back on it. It's a tough fight.
Looking back.
You go ahead.
Looking back on it, I would also say A+. It's tough when you first get there and you realize that you have to do so much fucking damage to him, and you can't waste your divine confettis.
Yeah.
But like with divine confetti, this guy kind of goes down easy.
He does have a large health pool and his posture takes forever to build, but
it's just
he's only
like
got
you're
one.
just deflecting everything, and it's just takes a long time.
Yeah, you're deflecting everything, and when you don't play, if you play this game like Elden Ring or Dark Souls, where you do a lot of backdashing / rolling or rolling in general, you're gonna get punished every single time, and it's gonna piss you off like it's Radon scraping your legs up. But once you just say, all right, I'm gonna dodge the moves I need to dodge, and then fight, and then when he does the spear attacks, dodge the spear attacks, he does a sweep, jump them. Once you get in that mode, it's a very simple boss fight, and when he does the 5-hit chain combo where he like swings it in a circle, that's really satisfying to dodge through the fourth one. This one, like if you block all 4 and then dodge, it's really nice.
It's pretty simple, but it's just long.
I mean, I'm tempted to keep it in A just to put the other one in
A+.
me
too.
Like I would put it above the Jinskes, even though I think the Jinskes are cooler. The Corrupted Monk has more mechanics to deal with, so it takes a little bit longer, and I like that.
Yeah.
All right, Demon of Hatred. Oh man, I know it. You know it. I think everyone knows this.
SS. I mean,
it's one of the best bosses of Dark Souls. FromSoft has made, in my opinion.
Soulsborne.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he has slightly different movesets for each phase. So he has the first moveset where it's just like everything's normal, and then the second moveset where he gets the flaming fucking arm, and then the third moveset where he gets the ring of fire. It just keeps amping up every phase you get from him.
It really does. And oh my gosh, I don't want to see another cheese strat. I want the good strats. That's what we need. What I like about him is exactly what you just said. And I don't understand people's complaints. Like whenever I heard Asmongold say, oh, fuck this boss, he took me 45 tries, and I see other people complain about it. It's just a get good boss. There's really no other way to get around beating this guy. He's got 3 life bars, tons of health. Each phase is different with different movesets slightly, so it's going to throw you off every time. And you just have to learn everything and get good at it. But it feels so good. Like, once you actually know, if you don't understand that you have to stay aggressive, he forces you to stay aggressive, which is what I love about it. And that's almost every boss in this game. But
then he has that one move that forces you away, and it's so annoying.
Like, every single move, except there's only one move or 2 moves that I don't like in this entire fight. Every other fight I've learned how to counter, and it's a lot of fun to counter. But the stomp and the kind of, not necessarily the head bash, but that could be included, or the like shoulder bump where they're blockable attacks, but you try and dodge them. you might as well block him because it's so
Nah.
50-50 on dodging it. And outside of that, though, when he does the ground explosion, when he like leaps at you, you can jump away and then Levi slash back into it. Same thing on that second phase when he does the line of fire, and you basically just have to full sprint and then jump over it, and then you can Levi pretty much cross the entire map. So you're flying around at him. It's a giant beast that you're slaying. It feels a lot like Attack on Titan, and the setting is nighttime, and it's very serious and just kind of like intimidating. And I really love that about this fight is the
Yeah.
entire fight your cheeks are clenched. There's not really a moment of let up because when he backs off of you, that's not time for you to heal or recover your posture. That's time for you to run up before he does those moves that if you don't get under him, he'll hit you every time with.
Yeah. The only two moves that I would get rid of are the fucking where he throws the fireballs at you and when he throws his arm out and there's a line of fire with it. I mean, you have to be in a specific position in order to not get hit. You have to be far away from the for the arm one, and you have to be close up for the fireballs.
Yeah.
And
Or you can be close for the arm one. You either have to iframe it, which is tough, or get under him or run around it.
I mean, you have to be really close at
Yeah.
that point.
It
You
forces
have to
you,
be.
or jump that like that. It's just every single move in this game or in this fight kind of forces you to be aggressive to avoid it. And so you can never have moments of just reprieve. You're always stressed out trying to figure out how to dodge his next move. And then I don't know if it's because we're on New Game Plus with the Demon Bell or whatever it was, but when he does that dash attack, the unblockable, like if you get hit by that, it's actually one shot.
Yeah, it literally one shots.
So that move will end your run. And outside of those stomps, though, there wasn't a lot of aggravating moments. Once I finally learned the fight, it was actually such a pleasure to enjoy, and I kind of wish it would have lasted longer today when I beat him.
Yeah, it kind of had a good rhythm to it when you got in the
Yeah.
move.
Divine Dragon. I'd say S or SS. I don't think it's SS,
I
honestly.
would. I don't think it's SS. I would say A plus or S.
Yeah, I'd say like low
Although,
S.
yeah, low S.
Like
I'm
the
good with low
mechanics
S.
of it aren't really that intense. It's less intense than Rykard, but not Rykard. Yeah, isn't it Rykard?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's less intense than Rykard, but I do like the spectacle. The music's serene, and
And the first phase kind of blows
yeah, this
ass.
first phase sucks. Jumping on the twig, like it's cool. Again, it's a gimmick fight. The first time you do the entire fight, all aspects of it are fun, but every single subsequent time is a pain. Like having to kill all these guys, jump on the tree, kill them again, are annoying, and then the second phase, which is really just the entire phase. I like that a lot personally. Jumping up on the twigs to, oh yeah, look at that scenery. Dodging
Yeah.
those attacks. I wish those attacks one shot you. If they were one shot,
Dude,
like if,
and okay, I agree with S. It's mid S actually because the last final string of attacks he does right before he
are
goes down,
nuts.
yeah, it's actually kind of nuts and difficult to dodge.
Like here, he only does two or three different types of moves, and you hop over the one sweep. So it's very slow. It kind of comes out like Elden Beasts and also Rykard's with his sword swing. But outside of that, it's so easy to dodge, and they're telegraphed. It's that third phase when you get him to like 25% that he kind of just doesn't play.
Yeah, this.
And you can deflect it though. Once I learned you can deflect these, it was GG's. If you couldn't
Yeah,
deflect them, I don't think it would be as easy as it was.
no, definitely not.
So good gimmick fight, best one in the game, of course. But I don't. Most gimmick fights, in my opinion, don't go to SS really,
No,
because that's not what I
unless it's
play.
like a really good gimmick fight.
Yeah, because that's not what I'm playing the game for. It's for the quality of the
Like
boss.
Yorm. Yorm was probably one of the best gimmick fights.
Yeah, and his music really helped. Like the music here was fitting and for the scenery and everything, but it wasn't epic. It was just more divine. Okay,
Yeah.
Emma. I'd say S.
Emma,
I'd say
I'd
S.
say as well.
I'd say above Divine
She,
Dragon.
some of her attacks came out so quickly, and then some of them came out so delayed, and it kind of just threw you off. But once you got used to it, it was pretty straightforward.
I'm really glad that I fucked up the ending and had to face them because to do
We
it all
probably
again.
never would have done it.
Yeah, if I did it the other way, I might have been like, "Oh, I'll just watch how the boss fight is and never face it." But doing the sure ending and not doing the others, you kind of have to do the other ending.
Yeah.
But yeah, that move
This
is
guy is getting smoked,
that move
bro.
is deadly. But once you learn, almost everything in this game works the same way. The move comes out deadly or seems impossible or undodgeable, then it becomes your saving grace as like the only time to inflict actual vitality or health on them. So it becomes your saving grace. Like this one, when she does that tell and you back up, you can do that run back and swipe at her. And
Yeah.
she just feels really good. She's kind of like Lady Butterfly, where if you stay on top of her, you can force her into a set of moves and basically just get her posture broken down without even taking a
You
hit.
know who she's a lot like? She's a lot like Orin of the Valley.
Yeah, she is like that too. But she's just got a few more special moves that Rin doesn't have.
Yeah. Yeah.
If she had more posture or a second phase, she would be pretty insane as a boss, but it's the fact that she only has one and her posture bar gets deleted if you kind of stay on top of her.
Yeah. This guy is
Out of
not
honor,
playing this
no.
very well.
Yeah,
This guy is not playing that very
I do
well.
like her fight though. Once I got used to it, I was pretty much flawlessing it, so it was very
Yeah.
pleasing. Father
Father.
Owl. Uh,
S or SS.
my only issue with this fight, and it's one that you'll never hear anyone complain about, is that I beat him too soon. I beat him, and too soon.
Well, you did spend 6 hours on the previous
Yeah,
version.
to
of
me,
this
too
guy.
soon. Too soon was like I beat him within 2 hours, or 2.5 actually. I think it took me 2.5, maybe that. I was expecting to face him for at least 4 hours. I was expecting to be Margit first night, but because I did fight the Shinobi one up top before him, I knew like half his moveset. And then of course Ichinobi double's really good. And
All of the moves that this guy has added from the previous one fuck with you too. Like the one where he holds the thing right above him, and then if you move, he does the side sweep.
yeah.
Like all of the new, and the one where he lunges at you and then does that air slash, and this one too. That
He kind of
like
follows it up with the stab right behind it to visually
yeah.
fuck you up. And like you said, yeah, there's that one move where I like his chain. I don't really like the way that they're showing this fight. He's slow motioning everything. But there's that one move where he kind of does a 4-hit combo and
It is too.
yeah, you have to. I got so pissed off at this, but once you learn to roll through it and be aggressive on it, you do so well. And that's like the story of every single boss fight in this game. You just have to finally understand how it works. And once you do and you click, it's all about executing and being consistent the
Yeah.
entire fight. The thing that
I
makes
feel
like
like I'll say it again and again. Sekiro bosses, you're gonna get your ass beat so way harder than any Dark Souls boss in the beginning. But then it's gonna be a lot quicker of a learning curve to actually learn the boss. They're just more learnable.
yeah, harder to learn,
They're
easier to
harder but
master.
learnable.
Harder to learn, easier to
Yeah.
master. And
Yeah.
and that's just proof in the last two boss fights with Demon of Hatred and Ishin. Like those guys probably are some of like the hardest bosses in the entire game, rightfully so. But because we had so much practice with all these other bosses and learning the mechanics and everything, we
I
we
mean,
we kind of dusted them.
we had 3 fights that prepared us for that Ishin fight.
Genichiro, the
Get
Ishin
Ichiro
fight,
again,
the
and then
MS5
Ishin.
Yeah, I love this fight because he's tanky, so it's gonna last a long time. You've really got to stay on
He
top of
does
him.
so much posture damage.
He's just like Lady
Oh my
Butterfly,
God.
where you yeah, the posture damage is wild. It's kind of unbelievable at times. Like that really ends my runs. The foot stomp will catch you because it's got whack timing, and he just kind of has additions to all of his previous move sets from the
Yeah,
temple
like
fight,
that side to side.
and the game punishes or rewards you for being aggressive and not letting him get moves off. And it's kind of like you just kind of keep R1ing and then reacting really fast and L1ing if you need to.
Yeah.
And I did love this fight. It's SS for me. I don't know between whether it's Demon of Hatred or this.
It's below Demon of Hatred.
Demon of Hatred is like a Bloodborne type feel where it's this giant beast that you're fighting and there's so much of a spectacle. Whereas Owl, it's like this very intense sword fighting, occasional special moves and effects that you have to deal with. So I would say it's a little bit lower. On repeat, I honestly don't know who I like fighting Father Owl more because it's more trades and like active and engaging. Whereas Demon of Hatred, it's like you dodge the move and then whack his ass for 5 seconds. But he's always intense too because you got to stay on him. They're both so good. It's hard to rate that.
I mean, if I were to play each one of these 1,000 times, I feel like I would like Father Owl more.
That's what I'm
after that.
saying. Yeah, there's just more
But
substance.
right
to
now,
it.
I feel like Demon of Hatred is better.
Yeah, In a minute-long fight with Fallout, you're crossing swords 1,000 times. Demon of Hatred, you're doing it 20, but it's still intense on those 20. It's just a different feel.
Yeah.
First Warrior,
Ogre.
I'd say A+.
He's SS.
He's A+.
He's
for me.
S.
He's
or
not
SS.
A.
Not SS. Whoa.
Watch
Getting
yourself.
Watch yourself. No, he's S, bro. I love this boss.
I do like him, but he's kind of like, he reminds me of a Jedi Fallen Order enemy, where he has like 3 moves that he uses, and it's just about timing them, and one move is really annoying and it fucking grabs you, and it's got the most whack ass grab box, and it one shots you. But like outside of that,
I mean, every one of his animations are so fun to watch, though.
they are funny. It's funny when he does the WWE attacks. Like, it's definitely funny, but...
And when he grabs you, it's funny, too, because he fucking flings you. Especially if he throws you off the fucking edge.
It is funny.
You into oblivion.
It's funny for the 1 or 2 times he does it, and then it just becomes a run-ender and it pisses you off.
No, it doesn't piss me off.
Like, I remember when I first... My New Game Plus playthrough against him, I went hitless, I think, on both phases, and it was really good. But it's just not a very engaging fight. It's just more funny than anything. And I'm not going to rate it higher because it's funny that he does WWE moves. It's like kind of an annoyance, I'd say. I'm actually going to put him... We're going to differ here. So I'm not even going A+. I'm going B.
This guy.
I think most people... I'm curious if most people disagree or agree with that take. Whether it's S or B, which way does it lean? I think it's worse than better. It has a lack of moves, lack of scenery, music, any kind of spectacle. The only thing that's noteworthy is his WWE moveset.
So when I said there wasn't a worse boss,
there's definitely worse, dude. I haven't been there. Oh, you're talking about this one?
Yeah. Shit, you mean Warrior?
This is who I thought you said was S, and I was like, are you trolling?
Yeah, no, he is one of the worst bosses he might be the worst boss in this game. He's worse than Blazing Bull, that's for sure.
He's one of the only 3 bosses I haven't beaten?
Yeah.
Or mini bosses, I guess.
And he's fucking AIDS, bro.
Yeah. Here's
everything.
Here's the issues I have with him. One, he's kind of like Monster Hunter, where you have to have preparation to just have a chance against him. You have to have the Divine Confetti, you have to have the purple gourd seeds and everything else. So it's kind of... Wait, what was that? Wait, what was that?
What?
So I think he's S tier. I would say. That's a pretty cool effect, regardless. But I haven't beaten him. The terror is such a bullshit mechanic. I don't think anybody ever asked for it or wants that in the game. So that automatically throws him down in doggy. I also don't like that so much of the fight you're running away from the terror balls. So it's like less one-on-one and just more avoiding his projectiles like it's Renala. That part where he just jumped on him was pretty fucking legendary. I'm not going to lie, but that didn't happen in my fights.
No, it's anti-air death blow. It's a skill.
Oh.
If someone jumps in the air, you can jump at them and hit R1.
Yeah, so again, if you're facing him straight up, not really knowing a lot, he's impossible to kill. His terror is going to one-shot you. Once you learn to put on the gourd, the 1 purple seed and the Divine Confetti, it's a little bit more manageable, but even then, you have to know about these anti-air death blows and all this other stuff to make the fight more than what it is. And I didn't but here's the thing, like, it didn't make me rage necessarily like the Blazing Bull. It just was awful for the fact of the mechanics. It was just a different...
Yeah.
Like, pain...
It was just so bad that it's fucking...
It's just a lack of feeling on that fight, I guess.
Yeah.
But I did like the location in the abandoned hole. Like, that down at the very depths of a cave. That was pretty awesome. And the fact that it was dark and the purple explosions were everywhere. So all of those were good, but it still doesn't put it enough to throw it above pain.
No.
I'm throwing this in pain too, or C. I think it's C. I'd say C.
I think it's B, honestly, because you can cheese this pretty easily once you know what you're doing.
Okay, but does cheesing make it a good fight? You can cheese Raging Bull. Does that make it B tier?
No, but it's not even cheesing. It's just like you know what happens, so you can just do it
But like, does that make
immediately.
it a good boss fight if it's not really exciting? You just do a puzzle that you already know how to
That's
do.
why it's in fucking B tier, not A tier.
But I think well, I guess C and B for us are a little bit different. I think C tier to me is just like a lack of feeling. It's like just insignificant here. B is kind of average to me. This is insignificant. Where the
But it
first
still did something different that we haven't seen before. It's
it did,
extremely unique.
and I thank Miyazaki and FromSoft for that. But I don't give a fuck. I don't. You think I give a fuck? It was a dog ass fight. You just even I knew from the very first time I had to do it, I was already annoyed. That's saying something about a boss fight. If the very initial reaction is that
Yeah,
it's
I'll
already
throw it
pissing
in
me off,
C.
and then like once you figure it out, like yeah, even going back and trying to do it, sometimes I can't do the speed run on it, so I have to chase the monkeys for a couple minutes, and it's just a time waster. Just sucking up my
All
time.
right, next guy.
General, he was pretty easy actually. General Kuranosuke.
Matsumoto.
Yeah, I'd say he's like B or A. General Kurano.
Oh, he's the guy you face. I mean,
He's the one where
he's
you
just,
basically take out his men up here, as this guy's
yeah.
doing, and then you can take out his first bar if you want to.
I mean, B.
Yeah, he's like a B or A. He's very easy to kill. All you got to do is just keep the pressure up and then deflect when he attacks and then
And
dodge.
you face this guy like 7 fucking times in
Yeah,
this
he
game.
basically becomes an NPC. He's like an NPC level. Beastman of
Yeah.
Faramazal of Elden Ring. I'd say
Yeah,
B.
I'm fucking throwing him in B.
I'd put him below. Chained Ogre's just different from all of them. That's why it's hard to rank him. But I'm gonna put
Better.
behind him.
You meant to say better.
General Namori Colorado.
He's
Similar
also
story.
B.
Yeah, similar
Yeah.
story. I liked it. Both areas are kind of mad to fight in. They're just typical village areas, but I did like that I didn't have to do more than one try on him. That's a positive.
Tenzin Yamaguchi. I'm throwing him in B
Tenzin
as well.
Yamaguchi. Tenzin Yamaguchi. Oh, he's the one where you have to take out all the guards around him.
I think he's C, honestly.
The whole
This guy,
preparation,
yeah, it takes so long to kill these guys without getting noticed.
and then you finally get
I'm
to
throwing
him,
him in C.
and then you can cheese him by running him through the door. Yeah, I'd throw him in C too. I didn't like the fight. Like, look at how this guy's even doing it. And then he's got the same moveset as a typical general, but just all the
Yep.
pain of building up to him. These kind of are.
Kenichiro Ashina, Way of Tomoe. This is the lightning phase.
Oh, they're doing in phases.
Well, just if it's different enough,
Different
then
like
yes.
different named enemy. I
Yeah.
would say S if we're just doing the bar.
I would say A
He's
plus,
like on the same level as
honestly.
Emma for me. He's got the
Nah,
lightning
not the
attack. The lightning attack is just one of the best
the lightning
feeling.
attack just makes him so easy to kill though.
It
Like
does,
his
but it's like a fun spectacle to have.
I don't know.
Like at the beginning, the lightning attack is a run ender, so it can be difficult to start. And once you get through it, it's kind of your saving grace. But all of his other moves are pretty difficult. He's got the grab.
He was just kind of disappointing compared to the other Genichiro fights.
I think the first two phases were more intense. Probably the second phase was the most intense, but the third phase was the most spectacle. You know, the lightning, it turned dark. There was lightning everywhere. He was shooting a spray of arrows at you. You had to dodge so many red attacks. Just look at that scenery on the top of the temple with the smoke going through
I
everything.
mean, visually it looks better, but mechanically it's worse.
I'm kind of sad that they broke it up because I would rate it higher as well for the vibe of the fight. But I mean, you can Mikiri counter that. You know, there's so many moves that are just stylish, and it's just a trade of blows, and I love that fight.
Yeah, but that's like second phase. But then when he pulls that shit out and you hit the counter, it's like all over. His bars at full posture.
I would still say S because I liked him on the same level as Emma, and
I'm keeping him A plus.
I'd put him above Emma. just because it's so satisfying to hit the return lightning strike.
All
Genichiro
right.
Ashina. So that's his first two. I would say SS.
Yeah, I would say S.
Uh,
He's
yeah, you're
he's
right.
just not
You're right. No,
SS
you're right. You're right. That
material.
that was a hot take for me to put that up there. He doesn't deserve to be on that tier.
No, he doesn't.
We know of my infamous rage clips on this guy when I was kept moving my left thumbstick trying to dodge his, trying to make carry counter and shit. Do I have that? I
I'm
don't.
hitting B. I'm hitting B. And I'm over here like, bro, you're going to the side. You're hitting a direction. It's fucking difficult when I'm trying to move back and forth and my thumb fucking.
It's a 50-50 if I get hit by it. I don't get it. I can't deflect it. I can't do anything besides dodge it. But yet, the dodging
And then-
is the inconsistent every fucking iteration.
And then I go up there and
Every
die.
iteration. I've tried every fucking way of dodging that move.
Just-
And every single time,
I die immediately.
I get hit. You just stand still and hit B. I've done that. I have done that. I literally just did it. And it happened.
This guy had me
Stood still,
blood
dropped my
boiling.
thumb on my fucking controller, and it still hit me.
Done that. No, you haven't, bitch. No, you haven't.
God, I'm taking a fucking break. Fuck. God damn it.
That was just a classic rage. Like he was. That's probably a top 3 rage for me. That's like Erdtree Avatar Elden Ring level. So the fact that I'm giving him this many props for making me that upset, it means something. Because truly, I was upset that I wasn't playing the game how the game wants you to play it. And once you play the game how you're supposed to, it feels really satisfying to parry and kind of be in this 1v1 exchange with Genichiro Ashina. Well, I guess I'll
Yeah.
look it up again. Like, just watch the first phase, you can pretty much flawless it once you're good with it. And this is a real fight that teaches you how to play the game. If you haven't learned how to play
Yeah.
yet, this fight teaches you. It says,
And remember, we ran by this guy and faced Corrupted Monk before this guy, and we were doing literally no damage.
see, you got to learn to Makiri counter that, and it basically just teaches you that you have to either Makiri counter or jump those specials, and you have to learn to deflect his arrows because he does that all the time. I mean, it's just a really intense fight, kind of like Demon of Hatred, but you're more trading blows, and I love it.
Yeah,
I would put
you
it
gotta
higher,
always
but
be alert.
I put it higher, but it's not on that level yet.
Nah, it's
Is it
not.
better than the Way of Tomoe? No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Not in my opinion. You just heard the clip. Not in my opinion. This one's better. They're the same. Anyways. Tutorial? Why is this even in here? You know what? I'd put tutorial S too.
No.
I'd put it right behind it.
A.
The reason why I put it here is...
It's going in A.
Wait. Genichiro.
The tutorial is literally the first phase Genichiro Ashina.
It is, but when you think about how it serves the story at the very beginning, the cutscene and the scenery, I mean, that's like the top 2 scenery in the entire game.
Yeah, but I'd rather attribute it to the final fight, not the first one.
Like, that was just... I remember when I first played the game and got in that moment. And it's 2 bars, too. I didn't even realize that. So he does have 2 bars that you have to go through. I would still say S. Because I think these 2 were better quality, slightly, but this would have had the better vibe and overall atmosphere.
It's going in A for me.
Okay, we disagree there again. Genichiro Ashina Way of Tomoe Final Boss. He's the best version, I'd say. He's the hardest version.
But he's still S.
He's still S. I'm not putting him SS tier, but I did love his final iteration in that last fight.
They didn't add a lot of new moves, but they did add like 2 or 3 that he threw in there every now and then, which mixed you up.
Yeah, he basically combined all of his moves in each phase, except for the lightning one. And what I loved about it is when I first fought him, as usual, first 10 times, absolutely pissed off. And then I learned how to do it, and then I'm basically flawless first phase every time.
Yeah.
And you just feel so good once you're in the rhythm, which is almost all these boss fights is just getting in the rhythm. When we said Dark Souls 3 was about a dance and about a rhythm with Nameless King and all that, it might be, but this is the true game for it. This
Yeah,
game is all about
that's.
that.
I mean, Ishin Ashina kind of feels like Nameless King esque.
Yeah, you're playing a song. You're just dancing to the rhythm of it all. But I love that first part. The only thing is it's one phase, so
Yeah,
as far as like difficulty, it's
and
not as
it's the fucking appetizer for what's to
yeah,
follow.
it's the appetizer for an amazing boss fight, God sent boss fight. But I still think its quality is higher than the other iterations.
Great Shinobi Owl. I'm putting him in S.
I'll put him S. I'll put him. I mean, Great Shinobi. I think he's top of S. I definitely spent probably the second most time on him, if not the most. No, I think I spent the most on Genichiro.
God, it's just hard to compare time spent because if you're really counting up the time you spent training, fighting against Father Owl, the second one, it's really including the first one as well. Because I don't know.
Yeah, it does include it in a way, but I love this one, and the reason why it's top of S for me is because you just saw that frame, the backdrop of the sunset on top of the temple,
And the music.
it doesn't get better than that. The music on this fight does pop off as well, and such a great sense, and the whole story impact, the lore impact of him being our dad and us having to fight, the Shinobi Code and all that. It's
and him killing you before.
Yeah, the stakes are at their highest, and then when you actually get into the mechanics and the moveset of the boss, it's unlike any other. He's such a deviant little ninja. He has so many tricks up his sleeve with the smoke bomb in the second phase. He drops the green pot that stops you from healing. But
When you first take out his first phase, he gets on the ground and begs for mercy.
yeah, but all of those moves become ways to punish him and get his health down. Like they at first are just run enders and no way to defend against, and then they become again your saving graces. And even his sword attacks are deceptive because he's got a reach to it and he delays some of them. And like you said, when he does that combo chain where he follows it up with a slice attack, like oh yeah, look at that. That guy's going
Like, he follows up his combos with more combos, and he just goes Insano style.
Yeah, and if you stay aggressive, you loop him into combos again. I just love it. It's like Lady Butterfly, and there's not as much, when he has his other shinobi or his owl father fight, he's got the owl and he's got the projectiles and more cinematic, but this is more pure sword to sword, and I like that. Beg for mercy.
Look at him on his knees.
Beg for mercy. And then he just tricks you like that. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Just everything about it is phenomenal.
There's a lot of character to this boss.
Yeah, there's a lot of character. The one issue I had with him was his posture breaking. He broke my posture so goddamn hard that I would rage because I would get he'd get free hits in if I was just defending.
It's just that guy and the spear guys.
Yeah.
Their posture was insane.
Guardian Ape. This is like the cover title of the game, I'm pretty sure. Or one of the cover titles. And when I finally got to him, I knew it was him. I was like, this is such an awesome setting. Like, look at this. All the statues.
Yeah, the setting is sick. The boss is sick. You think it's one phase, then it's two.
Yeah, that is never done before, where it's kind of like cut off his head, says you eliminated him, and then they bring it back. They really got us there.
Yeah, I think he's S, no cap.
I'd say S too. And he's actually not, I think people say he's super hard. He's not that hard. You dodge, you can deflect pretty much all his
He was
moves.
one of the harder bosses for me. He took 45 minutes for me.
Yeah, he was, but then on the second playthrough, especially when we got to a second phase with the spear, I mean,
Yeah, once we learned the spear, it was kind of just over.
But I think
second phase was
that's a different one.
yeah.
Or maybe they.
That's the second phase.
Well, that's the second fight. I think the Headless Ape.
Well, it's the second. Oh, the Headless Ape is the second fight. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess if we include,
Gyobu.
I'm putting this as right here above Divine Dragon, but below Emma.
Yeah.
Gyobu Masataka.
Yobu.
Gyobu Masataka Oniwa. I would say A or A plus.
Yeah.
I'd say A plus. I'd give him A plus actually, because he was the first.
I'd rather fight corrupted monk than Gyobu, honestly.
I would. I guess you're right there. But I think he nailed the first boss in the spectacle aspect, where you jump into this kind of war-torn battlefield in the middle of a castle, and then he comes out raging, and it's the first time that you also use that Levi sort of launch mechanic where you jump back and then kind of wire yourself towards him. And I thought that was like,
Yeah.
when that first happened, as a first time experience, that was amazing. So, but in subsequent plays, I guess it would be annoying to face him on a horse, and Corrupt Monk is better overall.
Yeah.
Headless Eiko, is that in the water?
Yes.
He's the weakest of the headless, in my opinion. Not a fan of
Nah,
this
the
one.
underwater one is the weakest.
Oh, I actually have a different take on that one. I think that one's the best. But I have.
Oh, weakest as in I meant like difficulty wise.
Oh, difficulty. Yeah, maybe this headless is the hardest or most annoying because he slows you. But to me, all the headless kind of go in the same tier, except they're slightly rated differently. Like, I'd put these in B. It's one of
Yeah,
the
I would
it's
too.
it's like Shichiman Warrior, where it's got that Monster Hunter formula. You've got to get Divine Confetti and the purple seeds and have all these items to just be able to stand a chance. And then not on top of that, he slows you down. It's like, why can't you just have a 1v1 sword? Now you got to deal with the slow. So he's just very frustrating to fight. And I mean, I could put him honestly here.
Yeah, I'm honestly down with throwing them all in C tier.
Yeah, I'd throw them all in C tier, but I'm gonna throw. Wait, is Gotchin? Okay, which one is what? There's so many headless. Gotchin.
Yeah.
Which one is Gotchin? It's Gotchin. Oh, that's the one here at the bottom of the tree. This one was very easy. I would
He's
say
ripping his ass out.
I'd say that one was one of the easiest ones because he didn't have a lot of other effects on you. Headless Ape or Headless Gokon. Headless Gokon. Which one is that?
Oh, I don't think I ever fought
yeah,
this guy.
I don't think we fought this guy. I think I ran past him though once, maybe.
I don't think so.
Maybe we never ran past him. But he's just like all the other Headless Apes, as you can see. And it looks like he has a slow on him. So,
Yeah.
probably the same story, just later in the game. I would put him right next to Eiko. And then Ungo, to me, is the best of them, just because, one, the Fountainhead Palace as a whole setting was such a amazing vibe, and then also going down really deep into the water, and it's kind of like this mist and mystery of it all, to see these two Headless ones. I really enjoyed that fight. Once I just was like dashing back and forth and then R1ing once, and getting used to it. It was really fun. So I'd say it's the best of those, but Headless in general are bad.
All right.
Yashiriki.
Last one. He's the same as all the other ones.
Oh, was he the one in the... Oh, no, it's this one. Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, it is. That's the one in Fountainhead Palace. The other one is the one in Ashina Castle.
Oh, yeah. Umgo's just that simple one in the middle of that one. He's probably the easiest, but I did like the water aspect, so he's still above the others. And then I'd say Yashiraku is the best, just because that was the one in Fountainhead Palace that you go to. I love that one.
Yep.
All right, let's do
All right,
Headless Ape.
Headless Ape. I'm throwing him in A tier, no cap.
I'd say A+. I think it's my first A+. Because...
I
even
mean,
though
I'm down to throw it in A+.
Like, it's sort of like the demon of... Or what's the demon in Dark Souls 3?
Demon
DLC?
Prince?
Yeah. No. Yeah, Demon Prince, right? The duo?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like that, where it's a duo boss fight, but it's kind of done right in a way. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that one, and Sekiro specifically, but you have unlimited stamina, so you can just run around if you want and never take damage, and then all you have to do is know how to play the fight, which is wait till he does the scream, and then throw your crackers at the female and basically take her out, and then it's a 1v1. And then the 1v1 against Headless Ape itself is actually a really nice boss fight. Like, if you get him into that combo string and then just time the deflections right so that he goes down and you use the spear, it's actually really fun.
Yep.
An enjoyable
I agree.
experience.
I just don't like the two apes part.
Ishin, I would say SS.
Yep, definitely. The fucking fire flaring up when he hits that stance and is about to rush at you with that insane ass move.
If he had 3 phases, he would be probably right behind Ishin for me. But he's a little too easy just because he has 2 and he's got weak posture. So, like, if you use Ichimonji double, it's kind of over for him. but
Yeah.
like he's got deadly moves. Like all of his fire attacks in the last phase are one shot worthy. He's got the Malekith type attack, like the one draw or whatever it's called, where it just
He
flares
really
everywhere.
is like a Malekith. He does so much fucking damage and can one-shot you, but he doesn't have too much
And he's
health
got that
himself.
hilarious gimmicky, like if you attack me, I'm gonna sidestep you and embarrass you, fucking kid type
Yeah,
move.
that shit is so good.
That's an amazing move because it frustrates you, but you're also like, haha, you got me, old man. Like, all right, I see you. So he was like a very difficult boss for me, but such a satisfying one, like a very enjoyable one. I wouldn't have any issues facing him over and over again. Like, and he's got so many windows of opening. Like that move, devastating, but if you dodge it, huge opening. And
Yeah.
he just has a lot of those. And it's also funny battling this old ass man in his robe. It's just a funny sight to be. I would say SS. I think he's above Owl. No.
I think he is too.
Is he above Demon of
It's
Hatred?
just
Demon of Hatred is so crazy. Like, I can't believe I like this guy so much. But I think if I were to face each boss 1,000 times, it would probably be Ishin first, then Owl, and Demon Hatred.
we haven't faced it.
Yeah, but this is how I think the order is for me, personally, as I've experienced it so far.
We got two.
Fuck
To the fucking
you,
pain
drunk
train.
ass bitches.
All
Fuck
right,
these
this
guys.
guy is the worst boss purely because
Oh.
you have to spend so much time just fighting this guy once. It takes like 15 minutes just to fight this guy once because you have to take out every single one of his fucking little minions, his little fucking henchmen hanging around waiting for someone to crawl in and hit their boss so they can pile up and dogpile on him.
Yeah, this is the kind of boss that my neighbors would not like me facing at 2 o'clock in the morning. And thank God that I only faced them at night at 2 o'clock in the morning where I was afraid to yell too much because I was getting up there. I was raising octaves, getting really heated at these bosses. Every single iteration, it does not matter which one. I will say the first visit is definitely the most annoying because he's got the foot soldiers and the torch guys who for some reason always get their turn in before you. And the shield guys that you have to use the axe on, otherwise they just deflect everything. I think it's great that you can bring in one of your boys to help out, but just the preparation leading up to that, all the pre-work that you have to do, it's like a 4 minute, not really 4 minutes, but it's like a lot of time waste just to get to the 1v1 in a way. And then the actual 1v1 itself is not a lot of fun. He's got bad hitboxes and you're pretty much deflecting or kind of running away the entire time until he's guzzling his wine or beer and throwing up on you. So it's one of the worst bosses I've ever faced.
Yeah.
Ever.
Just the fact that there's so many fucking dudes at the beginning.
It's
Oh
like
my
imagine
God.
Deacons of the Deep, except you have one person in the middle of all that you really should hit, and that one person has wide sweeps that one shot you, and he can grab you that also one shot you.
Imagine Deacons of the Deep, except they all have fucking swords and are running at you.
He's a much more difficult chained ogre, and he's got one shot moves, and he's just. And the second encounter's not as bad because you can do that trigger, which I did find a little fun for a brief period where you kind of like go around, you take out all his men in the room, and then you pop the gotcha and sugar and go around in this specific path just to get right up on him and take care of the first phase, or get the guy on your team. But even with all that, where's the second visit? L's memory. Oh yeah, there it is. Even with all that, it's still the same boss fight. The only difference is the lead up to it, but pretty much the exact same. 2, 3. We got 3 insane ones back to back to back. Do you want to take this one?
Oh man,
Do you want to take this one?
Ishin Sword Saint. What to say about this guy? So, I'm not separating the final fight. For Ishin Sword Saint. I'm including all 4 phases.
And you deserve to, because you had to face all 4 every time.
Yeah,
You go on, King.
and anyway.
You let him fucking know! Keep going! Keep going! Come on! I know there's something
Anyway.
you got to say about this guy.
The first phase, Kenichiro, it adds a few new moves. It's nothing insane, and I did beat him first try because I am insane.
That was
But-
such a lucky first try, by the way. But, go on.
But yeah, I mean, there's nothing to talk about. But then the cutscene when Ishin comes out of this dude's body and he's getting younger and younger, and he's like, "I must destroy you," and then he comes in with the classic with the Ishin Ashino, the other boss fight moves where he like flies at you and does these like quick sword swings. I wish the Ishin Sword Saint or Sword Saint Ishin had the sidestep move. That's the only thing I wish it had.
Yeah, I was hoping that they'd be there, but I guess it's because that was the older version who learned to dodge that way.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, I mean everything about this guy is insane. The third phase, the I would have struggled so much more with this phase if I hadn't fought Ishin Ashina before. And this phase probably would have been way more insane than Genichiro, but it really wasn't. But then once you get to the actual like new moves, where he gets a completely new move set with the spear and the sword, it's just fucking insane. I still can't even like guarantee a kill on this guy first try. I was just burning flasks until I got enough posture damage to take this guy out.
I jumped
But
over that
then
move.
the fourth phase, it's kind of like the same thing as the third phase, but you get like these easy outs with the lightning, so it's a little easier.
Yeah, they're pretty accurate on those descriptions, but I still want to talk about them for 12 minutes myself. So to start, you mentioned that the first phase, nothing much to talk about, and I disagree. I disagree. It's a lot to talk about. First off, he does this mortal blade attack that you
Which
never
is
see
sick.
before, and it was my run ender for like the first 9 tries, and I was getting absolutely blistered, boiling red, trying to figure out how to dodge
I
it.
mean, how did you even get hit by this? You just
Because
dodged.
well, you have to, yeah, you just stand still and dodge behind him at the last second. But everything else about it, once you learn that, it becomes a way to inflict damage and get good stuff off. And then you can do this slow delay in your hits to get him in a trap so he can't get his bow out. Then when he does this one move, you just got to be prepared for one of 3 attacks, which you've been learning the entire game from him anyways. And once you get used to that, it's just like a be on top of your game the entire way you fight him in the first phase. And once you are in that rhythm, you've been grinding him, and now you're just kind of almost flawlessing him. It's such a great feeling. Then you get into the second phase, and it's amazing transition. You know, one of the best in the game, probably the best in the game. And you're sitting here. Second phase is not bad either. Like when I was towards the end of the run,
This
I was
move is sick.
yeah, that move's sick, and you can jump into it and get around
And
it.
the other one where he projects it forward is also pretty sick.
This one does a lot of Makiri counters in this phase, so you got to be good with your timing. And then he does the Emma move, which is punishable but also really fun to play against. So I love this boss. I love the
Yeah.
second fight, and then the third phase, as you were saying, is just another beast.
Balls to the wall.
It's the hardest
Holy
phase.
shit.
I like how you can see the setting changing in each phase. Like now there's wind gushing, and it's just getting more and more intense.
But
And
there's not lightning yet.
yeah, there's not lightning
Yeah.
active on the map yet. And so you're facing this sword, spear, and gun combo, and the gun sound effects are hilarious. And you're basically just running around waiting for him to do a couple of moves so you can punish. You got to be careful with your posture bar, good Makiri counters. It's
I
such
mean,
a,
the only reason I was able to beat this guy is Makiri counter.
yeah,
If there was no Makiri counter, this guy would have taken me 3 times as long.
but that's just a mechanic in the game that they added that at first makes it so hard to face bosses, but once you start to get used to it and master it, it's so
It's your
good.
saving
Yeah.
grace. It
And
is so
I
good.
love I love this third phase because it's so intense. Like once you get through this, you know that you're on a good run. You might beat him because that fourth phase, it is just the same thing except the lightning, and the lightning, as you were talking about it is something where if you dodge it right, you inflict so much damage and it basically wins you the round. So
Yeah.
I loved everything about this boss. The hype around him, everyone's saying he's one of the hardest in all of Souls like. The setting, I mean, look back there, the fire, the lightning, the smoke, the field of white flowers at night. Everything about this fight is perfect and a masterpiece in my eyes. It is number one in the entire game.
Yeah,
And
it's
not
gotta
close.
be.
I don't think it's close.
And we only spent like an hour and 45 on this guy, but it does still feel like he was definitively the hardest boss, no question.
I can't get enough of that boss fight. I really wish I would have spent 10 hours. I would have been fine playing 10 hours on a boss like that. So
Yep.
props to FromSoft. That was
I mean, that's like
we're gonna
top
do like
three.
I'm gonna do
top
a
3 Soulsborne bosses.
yeah like I'm gonna do a Souls like all games once we do Bloodborne, which is next by the way. But
I mean, we just have Bloodborne, and then that's it.
yeah, once we do that, like all these bosses, this guy still might be top 3, and that's
Yeah.
saying something. That's a lot of hype. So Lady Butterfly, I want to take this one real quick because I want to go and give my rating. It is SS right in front of Demon and Hatred, personally.
S.
No, I can't put him in front.
It's got to be S. There's no way Lady Butterfly is on the same
Okay. I was a little optimistic here. I'm gonna put her right above Father Owl, actually. No, below.
You're still
below,
being pretty
below.
optimistic.
I put her right here. It's a little weird to put her in front of Great Shinobi Owl and in between them, but I think that's where she falls. So, my thoughts on her: one, she was probably the most time outside of Genichiro that I spent on her, because in both playthroughs, I'm pretty sure I spent like 4 or 5 hours the first time I faced her, that super late night, that one fateful weekend, and then a couple weekends ago or last weekend, I spent another 2.5, 3 hours on her. So I spent a ton of time on her, which always, in my opinion, for the most part, is a positive thing, because that means you're enjoying the fight, usually. And then everything the setting of the burning little underground sort of rock temple, just where you fight Owl, one of the best in the game. Like, it's so hard to say that it's the best because there's a lot of those in Sekiro, but it's just top notch. Like, it's a very well done backdrop with the fire. And it reminds me of Sister Freed, her second phase fight, that sort of room. And I like the fact that, like, she just kicks your ass if you give her space. Like, if you give her space, she's going to throw her projectiles, launch on her wires, run around the map like a fucking little owl. But if you stay on top of her, right? You stay up on her, though, and you don't let her fucking move. You see how she does that leg kick? She does that leg kick, and you can just get her in a loop. Basically, just... It's like one of those Demon of Hatred, Owl-type boss fights where your cheeks are clenched because all you're doing is staying up on them, R1ing, seeing if they react, and if you need to press L1, do it super fast so you get a quick deflect, and then going on the aggressive again. And you keep doing it, and she can't do any other moves, and it's like, you can make this fight last 10 minutes if you play back, or if you stay up on her, it's basically a 60-second fight.
I mean, this was the first boss we fought. We fought her way out of order, so...
Yeah, I also like but I like that. It's like fighting a boss too early made her extremely complicated and devastating at times.
I just don't... She's just not SS. She's just not an SS kind of boss.
I think she is. She's got the moveset of an SS boss where she's got a ton of different moves she can use on you. She's got a lot to learn, a lot to master, but it is all learnable and masterable. And I think that besides only having 2 phases and a low posture bar, like, that's the only thing that separates her from Owl right there. They've got very similar movesets, and I think Owl punishes your posture more, so that's the only big challenging difference. But Lady Butterfly's right up there as one of the hardest. I mean, I think she's a quality boss, and I loved fighting her both times. I remember when I beat her the second playthrough, I was thinking in my head, I'm going to rate her highly no matter what happens after this, because that was such a fantastic feeling when I beat her that second time through. I stand by it. Bottom of SS, but still SS.
No. S.
Do you have any other thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree with most of it, but it's just... The second phase kind of sucks ass with the whole run around for 30 seconds waiting for her to pop that bullshit.
But remember learning the tech of knowing where she starts in second phase, and then learning the other tech where... I remember the first time I beat her, it's because all that second phase, it took forever, and I was just running around during that part. But then you could get greedy at times and go through her magic and just take damage to deal damage. So I just love all the trade-offs in that fight, and...
Nah, it's just an ass boss.
Lone Shadow. This guy made me delirious. He made me delirious.
If you're about to throw this guy at SS, I was about to say.
The issue is, like, as an experience, like, time put into how I felt about him, highs and lows, he's actually probably SS. But when you look back on the actual difficulty of the character or the enemy, his moveset, lore implications, like, where you fight him, all that, it's very much lower.
This was our Sekiro get good moment. Because remember,
yeah, that's a good way
the
to
only bosses that we have fought before this were Gyobu and Lady Butterfly. We had not fought Genichiro. We ran to this guy before getting
Which getting to him
any
is
of that part of this.
it was a pretty fascinating way to get to him too. Just kind of the trekking
Yeah.
path.
And we didn't even know of the cheese to take out his first health bar.
Yeah. We didn't know the cheese, and there's two cheeses actually. You can do this one, where you run away and then
One
come
from
back.
the top.
Yeah, or you can come from the top. But the first time I played him, I remember, as you said, it was our ultimate get good moment in Sekiro because it was like 3 a.m. We had on a limb decided, I think it was after our Elden Ring playthrough or something, we were like, let's get back into Sekiro. And so we finally launched it back up, and like I spent probably, I don't know, 2 hours, 3 hours on this guy. And when you look back on it, it's kind of impressive how it took us that long. Because his moveset is not that diverse. It was the leg kicks that were so fucking vicious and brutal that always ended the runs. Like the red leg kicks. And the secret is you just had to block all the stuff before it and then just jump the leg kick. But I didn't know that every time, or Makiri counter it. And I didn't really, even like when we got back on the game, I didn't really use Makiri counter or
At
the
this
jumps.
point, we didn't even know what a Mikiri counter is. We didn't know you could do that until we fought the spear guy before this guy.
Yeah.
Remember, we fought this guy before the spear guy.
Yeah, so all we really were doing was playing it like it was Dark Souls. So we were just kind of trying to roll or dodge out of the way of every single move, and you
It
can't do
just
that.
was not working.
Yeah. And then, like, the run back is so fast, and the fight is, like, Leon Misbegotten. I can't think of another enemy right
It's
now.
like
but
an
it's-
instantaneous fight. Like,
Yeah.
20 seconds max.
So it's like, even though it probably took us 2.5, 3 hours, the amount of deaths in that time was, like, a fucking million. Because you can die in 5 seconds if you're not careful. And I
I
remember
think it was just because the room was so small. You could
Yeah.
not get away with him. You had to face him and learn his moves.
And if you got pushed in that other section back there, like without
You were
knowing,
just fucked.
Yeah, you were like, I can't heal, I can't do anything. He really punishes healing, and it's fighting in a straight up cage. It's like you're in the octagon with them. So it was like it was one of the most funny, hilarious kind of fights. Because I was
I
getting.
mean, and remember at the end of this, we were like, "This is a fucking mini boss."
We were like, unbelievable! You're telling me this guy's a mini boss? I mean, it is such a gauntlet of a fight, and I loved it every single way. Like, even though there was times I was frustrated, the highs were worth it. And I still think, like, as an experience, it's S. On playback, it's not ever. I'm probably gonna beat him first try nowadays on playback.
Yeah.
But before that, when I was getting good, that since it was one of my get good bosses, it was so fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. He is S tier. He probably would never be an S tier for anybody else's tier list.
Yeah, it's just that.
But just because we faced him, how we faced him is insane.
All right, this guy right here. Wait, Serpent Shrine, Lone Shadow Masanaga.
Oh, did we miss this guy too?
Spear. No. Remember, this was the guy. No, never mind. Yeah. Wait. Oh, this guy.
Oh, fuck this guy.
Oh, it's this guy. Okay, you know what? I'll take this one. What's the difference here? Serpent Shrine. This is Hirata Estate, probably. Right?
This is the second Hirata
So
Estate.
let's do
where
the Hirata
he
Estate one
goes.
first. I'm gonna put this one in S, right below the other Lone Shadow. Is Lone Shadow above Guardian Ape? I don't think it is. Is he? They both don't have that many moves, and Guardian Ape has that terror bullshit. I'm gonna say
No,
it's
this
above.
guy is a fucking 8B tier,
I'm-
bro.
dude-
Fuck the dogs.
No, okay, but my argument for the dogs is like, yes, when I first faced it and you said, good luck with the dogs, I was like, damn, you're serious about that. And when I faced it, I was getting so tilted. But the game is trying to teach you a lesson, Aiden. And that lesson is no hesitation. Hesitation is defeat, as my boy Ishin would say. Because if you stay up on him and you don't let him move, he can't summon those dogs. And so, as long as you play perfect, and you play it for an extended period of time, you will break down his posture bar and get him to second phase, and you just do the same in a second phase.
I'll throw him in A.
Like, I will say, if I don't know how to beat the dogs, yeah, the concept of fighting the dogs and him at the same time is fucking dog shit. It's like a D tier experience. But now that I learned how to do it, and I just stayed up on him and fucking grinded his gears over and over, he was just like the lone shadow swordsman. And I think he may have had one or two other moves, which made him a little bit more thrilling to fight. And then everything else was just... Oh, he put him in some kind of trap like what's her name? Oren of the water.
Yeah.
So he couldn't attack. Interesting. Yeah, I think he was probably the most well done. Well, they're both really good, but the setting of this one was the best of the Lone Shadows.
The spear bearer. This is the guy you fought at the Serpent Shrine, where Tengu was. The guy who you had to fight in that little fucking garden, who had the poison.
Oh, he was a spear bearer? He had a spear?
He didn't have a spear, but he was called Spear Bearer.
Look at the title of this. The goddamn pillars. Yeah, I did take a lot of time on him, surprisingly. I did, but I like these fights.
It's just the arena, though.
Yeah, it's like so much of the arena is meant to piss you off. It's rock here, tree here, stairs here, dog here. But
you can get caught on each one of the little holes in the railway over there on the inside, and it is so goddamn annoying.
Like, taking out the dogs at the beginning was annoying, but then when you learn that you can take out his first phase, and then it's just one phase, that pure fight is pretty good. The only real issue I have with it is the poison string that he does, and when he inflicts you, it's like, no one wants that in here. It's like facing the gargoyles in Elden Ring. It's just not needed. But I do like his moveset, and outside of that, though, the arena that you fight him in, nothing special. It's probably one of the worst you could fight a boss in, especially all the distractions and ways that they trip you up.
I mean, this guy's just a fucking...
I'd say A, actually. Lowest of A. But I'm keeping the other two up the top because there's no real distraction in the Hirata Estate one. Yeah. There's no real distraction in the Hirata Estate one as long as you stay on him, and then this one was... What do you know about that one? Lone Shadowed Vile Hand.
This is the one that you got the guy on your side and you beat his ass.
Oh, it's the Jinbo guy, but the second time around?
Yeah, it's in that room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that felt good. That really felt good to do. Could you walk up on him that first time?
I guess.
I thought you had to go around and put your boy on him. But, yes, you're right. You're right. Is this what you're talking about, dude?
Yeah.
Right here?
You fucking dismantled that guy. Oh, that's a good term for it. Fucking Lord. That's a good term. You just dismantled him. Now let's... I would fucking say I did! I would say that I did! God damn it! This entire fucking weekend, this entire night, I've been getting my fucking cheeks clapped, bent over a barrel, showing the 69 states, and finally I get one just for me. One just for me where I get to 2v1 him, and I get to fucking slap his ass. Finally one for the home team. Shit. Oh, yeah. Just so that I can go face Owl for 6 hours to never win.
And you did!
Yes.
And you did!
And I did.
Yes.
Yeah. He holds a special place in my heart because it's just like the Genichiro fight where I was letting loose on the rage. And so
Why is it always these lone shadows that have just a special place?
They do.
Not for their bosses, not for the boss itself, but for outside reasons.
I wouldn't put him in S tier just because it only took me one try, and it would only take me one try every time. But otherwise, he would be in A tier otherwise, but that memory puts him A+. He's got his own place in A+ for me.
Yeah, alright.
Who else?
Long-armed centipede giraffe.
Okay, so this is the first one or the second one?
First one, I'm pretty sure.
Centipede giraffe.
Or wait, no, this is the second one.
The one where you have to kill the monkeys above him?
No, the second one, where he's in this
Oh,
tiniest
this is the
room
second
ever.
one. Yeah, this is the second one. Yeah, fuck this room! Fuck this room! Holy shit, this room pissed me off so much. But the boss is so one-dimensional, he does two moves. He does this onslaught, and then he does a sweeping attack that you have to jump. And as long as you do those two things, you win the fight. Watch your posture bar. And hope that you don't get hit because you're not really going to get a heal off. But other than that,
I think he's a B tier.
I'd say B. His design's pretty unique too, though, for these enemies. A lot of these enemies look the same, but this one definitely had a unique design.
Yeah, and same thing with the first
And
one.
I'd rate the
except he
second
had-
one higher just because the room was bigger and more room to work with. But you did have to
but
deal with
lower
the monkeys.
because, yeah, fucking minions.
Miss Noble SS.
This guy. I mean,
She's
B,
not Pain.
C.
She's C. She's C. She was super easy to
Yeah.
beat. She was a joke of a boss, and I think everyone kind of makes fun of her. Don't even know the purpose of this entire fight. It's not even really a boss.
Nope.
Okami leader Shizu, I would say
This guy was a fucking pain in the ass
I'd say
until
A.
you got up to him, and then you just beat his ass.
Yeah, I'd say A because I think the whole, like, the way that he fits in with this entire setting of the Fountainhead Palace and the fact that you can't go in the water until you get rid of him, so you got to work your way around. And it's sometimes annoying because those ladies one-shot you and you can't revive, but outside of that... Wait, what did I look up? Outside of that, though, I do think that the fight using the lightning against him is super satisfying as usual, and he's not too difficult to deal with. And it's just a pleasant fight to fight him on this giant log.
Yeah. Just decent.
Yeah, it's not. You're never gonna want to face him over and over again. There's not really a lot of skill or excitement to it, but it does.
Just the way he was presented, where he's just a fucking nuisance for 20 minutes, and then you get to beat his ass.
Yeah, exactly that. Where is he?
Orin of the Water.
Is this him?
I'll
yeah.
let you take this one.
Orin, this is the fight. Yeah, and he shoots those that you can deflect. He like kicks those little balls. Those are pretty cool as well. Like all that is pretty awesome, and the backdrop as well. I would put him.
Yeah.
Where did you put him?
I put him in A.
Yeah, I'll put him A. Orin of the Water. I want to say Pain, like because that's what she is to me. She's Pain, but I'll put her like A. I'll put her above, but at the lowest of A. She's the only boss in this game. I haven't fought mini bosses, and then or two mini bosses, and then she's one that I've cheesed every single time. I probably could go back and beat her now that I think about it, but there's just something about her moveset and her timings that throws me off every time.
And you need divine confetti as well.
Yes,
in order to do good damage.
Having to have specific materials to beat her is annoying, and I do like that they put in a cheese mechanic so you can take her out and just kind of slaughter her on the wayside. That's really fun. But when you stand up against her straight up, it can be very intense and pretty traumatic in my experience. I would say this is
your experience.
my experience. Like, looking at this fight now, I could probably get used to it and beat her really easily, but I didn't want to deal with it when we were doing the second run through.
She is really Emma-like.
Yeah.
I feel like Emma got a lot of moves from her.
True Corrupted Monk, I am surprised by how much I like this fight. I really am. I would say it's S tier, and I'd say it's above all of these.
I would throw it in A+.
This might be a hot take. This might be higher placement, but I think she deserves like S tier right above kind of all. Maybe not that. Maybe right there. Lone Shadow has a better experience overall, but just everything about the fight, for the most part, was polished. The setting of the cherry blossom trees and the Fountainhead Palace, first boss in that entire new scene, is fantastic. I think the fact that there's like that cheese gimmick to get her second bar out if you jump on the top tree, I like that they added that in there as a special thing to learn, new tech. And then she's got similar moves to the illusion one, and once you get used to the illusion one, it is pretty satisfying to fight. You just deflect all of her normal attacks, and the red ones you jump or dash through. This one you dash on the fourth hit. Firecrackers.
See, I agree with all that, but just not to the extent that you do.
I'm probably rating it too highly, but looking back on it, I did love that fight, and I would fight her again.
Yeah, I would fight her again as well. It's a good fight, but I think everything in S is just better. Lady Butterfly Emma.
I guess Guardian Ape would be better. I think I spent more time on it, and it left a bigger impression, so I'd put it right there. Divine Dragon. It's hard to put Divine Dragon. I think I gotta keep Divine Dragon where he is.
Yeah. Sakura Bull. I mean, we don't even have to face that guy. Pain.
Yeah, we'll put Pain. We didn't face her or him, and I'm glad we didn't. That's okay. I think most people agree with that placing. It might be better. Maybe I bet it's a little bit better than the original fight, but not by much, I imagine.
Yeah,
Second Chained Ogre, I'd say like B. Probably worse than
I'd
the
say
first
A.
one.
Worse than the first, but still pretty good. And the room was so tiny to where like you had to know what was behind you when you dodged.
Once again, giving you a cheese to take out the first bar, always appreciative. But I just didn't like the fact that all of his wrestling red moves one shot you. If they didn't one shot you, it'd probably be done in one round. But those moves that one shot you ended the run every time, and the because it's such a small room, another cheese mechanic. Because it's such a small room and he has weird hitboxes on that grab, it can be really, really annoying.
Yeah.
I didn't face this guy. Second Ichiman, he's Fountainhead Palace.
I-
No, wait, there's a. Where was the second one? The third's in Ichiman?
So the first one is in Bottomless Hole. The second one is. Oh wait, where is the second?
I know where the first and the third are, I guess, because the third's Fountainhead Palace. Guardian Apes Burrow. Oh,
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I skipped this
mean,
one too. I skipped all three of them.
I went back and killed them all when I got enough Divine Confetti, and they really weren't that hard. But like, I mean, they're still dog ass.
Yeah, I'm going to put the third one there too. I think the first has the best setting. And I don't know. My issue is one, you have to have all the materials to fight him, and so it's not that I don't want to fight him. It's just I'm not going to farm to fight him. I'm not going to do that. And
Yeah.
they probably caused me. I know the first one caused me a lot of pain when he kept hitting me with terror. So.
Yeah, it's still fucking.
Alright.
They do too.
Is this the guy? Is this the most difficult mini boss in the entire game right here?
That's the second. The second guy to the right is. Yeah, he's the most.
No, this is the original one though.
Oh yeah, the original one's that one.
Yeah. This guy, probably one of my least favorite bosses for a shocking revelation that he's one of the hardest. Normally, there's a correlation that the hardest is one of my favorites, but in this case, not whatsoever. What do you think?
He was difficult. He probably is the most difficult mini boss, but I still would put him in like A tier, just because you can cheese the first phase, and once you learn how to Makiri counter.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
this
he's one of the only.
this is where I learned how to Makiri counter. They put these two guys right next to each other. One, I learned how to play Sekiro. The other one, I learned how to Makiri counter.
I don't know. His moves are so wonky and weird
They
timed,
are.
and like the hitboxes and the stretch of the spear is insane. I never have a good time or an easy time on him, and his moves for the most part can one shot you too. So you pretty much have to be full health, otherwise every single move is gonna one shot you. And he's just overly difficult for no reason. I wish that there was like a way, just like in the second one, where you can basically have a tag team on him. That would be a lot better of an experience. But I'm gonna say Pain. He was Pain for me. Top
I think
of
I'm
Pain.
gonna put him in A.
Like, it's hard to really say. Yeah, no, I don't like him at all. I don't like him at all. I'm not even gonna give him any fucking shadow of the doubt. He's Pain. He's top of Pain, so he's not the worst of the worst. But I don't like fighting him ever, and he's one of the hardest in the game.
This guy,
I'd say B. This guy's not bad. Once you get a boy on your team, and then you are 1v1ing him on the last bar, at this point in the game, you kind of learn to fight him. So it's not.
yeah.
I'd say B right here.
Oh, we also missed this guy. Shige Kichi of the Red Guard.
No, that was the Tojiro guy.
What?
That was the drunkard.
Oh. Juzo.
Trust me, we didn't miss him. We didn't miss
This
him.
guy said Tojiro. He's the best Juzo, but the worst not
them.
any other boss.
And the only reason why he's not the worst of the Juzos is because the preparation to get the one bar is slightly less aggravating. Slightly. It's still, you still have to go around, do a path, assassinate all his boys at a specific interval, and then you can fight him. but it's less annoying than all the other ways of doing it.
Oh. Yep. I
And-
would agree, but he's still a fucking Juzo.
And he's got fire too, so his attacks can be a little more deadly. I would say
Pain.
Pain,
Fucking
but
Pain.
the first of them. Look at all of them, all my Pains, the Juzos. Shinobi Hunter Inshin.
It's just Juzos and Shichiman.
Shinobi Hunter Inshin. You know, he doesn't really get talked about enough.
Shinobi Hunter Inshin.
Remember, it was like that little pathway, and you snuck up on him with the flowers.
Oh.
He has a spear.
This guy also taught me how to Mikiri counter.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, this is how the Seven Spears guy should have been. He had a couple of moves that you had a Mikiri counter, and they were difficult to deal with. But overall, I like the fight. I like the setting. You know, kind of this misty, dark night, quiet.
He did have those fucking side minions though, which
did.
was fucking annoying.
Yeah, you had to deal with them, but the fight wasn't nearly as long or annoying as Seven Spears.
No.
So I'm okay with. I would say he's probably an A tier fighter. And I put him above Oren just because I did beat him normally instead of cheesing. You agree with that?
The Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. It's funny how like two different playthroughs tell a totally different story.
Man, this guy went down really easy with the cheese, but without it, I feel like I would struggle.
Yeah. The whole area is just one to already get you going, right? It's poison infested with snipers that you have to go and kill if you really want to get rid of them. But learning the whole rhythm to getting, it's not even rhythm, but learning the whole puzzle to getting over to him or her, and then basically taking out the first health bar, then you can either cheese by getting her caught on poison and hiding up here on this branch, but that's just such a boring and uninteresting way to do a boss. So I didn't like that. And then when you fight her straight up, like, you can use firecrackers and just obliterate her. I would probably say B or C.
I would say B for both of them, honestly, because the other one, it didn't have the other guys, but also that boss just really isn't. There's not much going on there.
There's not. Tokujiro the Glutton, same.
This guy is the only Juzo who I didn't hate.
I didn't hate him, but
because
I'd say C actually.
I would say C as well. Just because you could kill the monkeys beforehand and fight them one-on-one.
Yeah. And, yeah, he was the least prep time. Leader Shigenori Yamauchi.
This is the very first boss.
He was such a pushover. He really is.
I know.
He's like the, what's the first boss in Elden Ring? The tutorial boss.
Oh, fucking Godric Soldier.
Yeah, he's like Godric Soldier.
Soldier of Godric.
If you die the first time, it's kind of embarrassing. Like, you just pretty much always attack, maybe deflect once or twice, and then his posture's gone and you just beat him. I would say he's like a B for like a good first boss.
Yeah.
Top of B.
Yeah.
I didn't hate him, but he didn't stand out in what anyway. Whew! I'd say that's...
There is a lot of S's, a lot of A's, and a lot of pains.
Yeah, which is how I think this game should be. If there's a lot of B's and C's, that means that there was a lot of unmemorable fights, and it's definitely more top-heavy. Not really. It's honestly balanced. But you can see, like,
it's pretty balanced.
The lower part is almost all mini-bosses, right? Is there a single main boss?
Folding Screen Monkeys.
Yeah, so Folding Screen Monkeys is the only boss that I have as, like, a average or kind of below average, not a enjoyable experience. But everything else was very satisfying, and, I mean, the game is just... I don't think there's any words that can describe more than amazing and fantastic.
All of the main bosses in this game are extremely well done. Even the ones that are annoying, like Folding Screen Monkeys, I still think it was well executed. It's just a boring concept to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100% agree with that. And everything else, like, I think the only thing missing in this game, because most of these boss fights have fantastic settings, but the only thing that really misses is the music. And it's not even that it misses, it's just that it's like...
It's just
it's a
side...
tone.
It's just...
They set a tone for the game, and they followed through with it, but that tone is not a Dark Souls, like, epic grand orchestra playing tone. It's this feudal
it's just
Japan...
not as prevalent in Sekiro as it is in Dark Souls. Like, when you hop into a boss in Dark Souls 3, you immediately recognize that there's music playing. But in Sekiro, you're just kind of just focusing on the fight.
Yeah, and Bloodborne, like some of the best parts about the bosses and when you rank them is the music. Whereas in this game, that's pretty much not the case for any of them, and that's fine because every other aspect is phenomenal, so you can't complain.
But imagine Demon of Hatred and Sword Saint with fucking amazing music that's
Yeah,
just blasting in the background.
just stuff that makes you want to run through a brick wall hard, like that would just get you going. But
Yeah.
I really like this ranking. We didn't disagree for the most part. There was a couple that were iffies, but I loved my
Yeah, there are a
experience
few
playing.
that were here and there.
I loved my experience playing this game. I'm so happy
Yeah.
that we stuck through with it and did the New Game Plus, did all the bosses for the most part.
Yeah, I'm glad we did both endings too. Fighting Ishi, Nashina, and Emma before the Sword Saint.
It feels like a chore sometimes when you're on some of these bosses. Like I remember when I was on the Shinobi Owl and I was like, dude, I can't get through this guy. And some of the fights can be wear you down and feel like tasks, but once you get through it and you just master that art, it is one of the best gaming feelings you can have. And even if we may not play the game again ever, unless they come out with a Sekiro 2, I'm fulfilled, completely satisfied with my experience.
Yep, I agree.